Are you struggling with hair? Do you draw it like this beautiful little masterpiece right here? Probably not, but this is a highly requested tutorial that I've gotten, so I'm making it for you guys. Here are the materials you're gonna need. To make things easier for you guys, I'm gonna be using pen fade for everything, and I also have a color palette that I'm gonna be using for each of the hairs, just so you guys can like use it. And also this one is the base color. Get your sketch and fill it in with the base color. Using the second darkest color in the palette, you're going to create these shadows on the hair. And then you're going to create like line shadows. I don't know how to explain it, but just do what I'm doing and follow the flow of the hair. Okay, now take your slightly darker color and make these hair strands. And a good tip that I like to use or whatever when I'm drawing hair is like think of it as if it's like a river that's like flowing, and you want to like follow the flow of the river. Here I just color drop like the little in-between color between the shadow and the base color, and just like making more hair strands with it. Now take the darkest color and shape the underside of the hair. And after you do that, you should come up with something like this, and then we're going to move on to darkening the already shadows that you've made like this. Using the same color, lower your brush opacity and make more shadows in the hair. Like, you're going to want to use the shape of like a rounded rhombus or diamond shape, and they're like all connecting. Like, if you see what I mean, that's like, just do that. When you're done with that, you should come out with something like this. But if you don't, that's okay. Hair is hard. But now using the darkest color, you're gonna darken like the shadows that you just made. And you're gonna want to focus more on the parts that are like connecting together and making those darkest. Like right here. And also right here. And don't be afraid to have like darker values, because that's something that I would be like, oh my gosh, no, I don't want to make it too dark. So just don't do that. Use the lighter color, and wherever you're going to put your highlights at, I'm just going to do a generic top lighting and put it there. Re-add any sort of shadows that like got covered up. And then also use the lightest color to add like more highlights. It's time for the finishing touches. So we're gonna use one of the lightest colors and make these hair strands. They're like highlighted hair strands. I don't know how to explain it, but I saw someone doing this like in hyperrealism, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. So I stole it. I'm sorry. I promise I'm not a thief. I promise I'm super original. But just draw these hair strands with the like a small size brush, very small, so it's like it actually looks like real hair strands. They don't have to follow the hair strands that you've already put in there. They can be like irregular because they are hair strands, and you know, hair isn't completely uniform. And now I'm just gonna make like flyaways, I think that's what they're called, or stray hairs, whatever they're called, but the ones that are like outside of the hair. And yeah, okay, now this part is optional, but I think it makes a really big difference. So make a layer under your hair layer and lower the opacity of your brush, and use the base color and like make this sort of outline, this soft outline. I don't know how to explain it, but do that. And then also add like hair strands too. And then once you're done, lower the opacity of the layer and to your liking, and it makes such a big difference. Like just look. It's time for type 2/type 3 hair, and it's really simple because it's basically the same process as straight hair, except, you know, with curls. So going in with the shadows first and then making hair strands, like I said, it's basically the same process as straight hair, just, you know, making actual curls. So you're going to do the same thing as before. And so I'm taking the slightly darker color, and I'm now adding more little curls and hair strands. But a good tip for this is to make curls that are not the same. Some messy curls, because like some that are curlier, some that are looser, some that are messed up, because curly hair is very messy and you don't find the same type of curls throughout your whole head of hair, nor on the same day. Because I swear, every single time I wash my hair, it is a whole different head of hair. It's so annoying. Near the bottom is where I draw the more defined curls, like the ones that are darker. And you guys want to like layer the curls on the top of each other because that like adds depth and it doesn't look so, you know, flat and 2D. I really don't know how to explain what's going on. I really don't know how to explain what's going on in my head. This part is a bit hard to explain because I'm kind of just going with the flow and doing whatever I think looks good. I'm just like layering stuff on top of each other, so it's like a lot of trial and error, and I'm just like going with the flow. So, you know, just follow your gut, do what you think looks the best, and yeah. You better not forget the highlights. Okay, this part I can explain a bit better because it's basically just me layering colors and the curls and drawing them over, and then using the brush on a low opacity and like going over them so it like softens them, and like, if you just see what I mean. And then I just keep doing that until I like it. Okay, this is really important because a lot of people tend to make the ends of curly hair like straighter, or like how fluffy hair is, if you know what I mean. And you want the ends to actually like be curly, so just do curls on the ends like this, and it makes it look 100 times better. When you're doing your like highlighting hair strands, like how you do it to straight hair, do like this sort of shape too, instead of just like actual like wave curls, because this makes it look like it's like a ringlet, and it just like looks so cool. I don't know. Of course, the last thing you're gonna do is the layer underneath and the soft outline, and of course the flyaway and the whatever random hair strands, and that's it. Again, we're using basically the same process for type 4 hair as well. You're gonna do the same thing with the shadows, except like make it rounder. When you're doing your hair strands, you're gonna be using a spirally shape or like a squiggly line because that resembles like tight curls. Same as with the other two hairs, going in with the darker colors to make some shadows. Since this is basically the same process as the other two hairs, I'm just gonna focus on the things that are done differently. Speaking of which, this is one of them. So instead of doing hair strand shadows, you're going to do like soft shadows like how you did in the beginning. Because when you look at an afro or like type 4 hair, you can see that like there's these indents that are like soft shadows. So when you're drawing your little spiral curls, make it so it like matches the perspective. So like on the side, you see how they're more horizontal, and near the front they're more circular. After doing that, and also adding like using the lighter color and adding like highlights and doing how I did with the lower opacity and like softening everything, this is what I came out with. I want to go back in and add more defined hair strands again with a small brush, and also highlights with a small brush at the top. And it's not just one line, because like light hits differently on this hair than like the other hairs. And so I'm doing this the same rounded shape, but like once you add like the little soft outline, it just makes everything look so soft and more realistic. Like the before of this afro was not an afro. So that's how I draw hair, and I'm really sorry if this was like confusing or not helpful whatsoever. This is like the first tutorial that I've done in a video format, and I've never found it to be easy to actually explain like what's going on in my head when I'm drawing. So Okay, bye.